Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you 5 simple steps to improve your F2L. So in my opinion, F2L is the most important step of the Fridrich method because it takes the longest and it's logical, which means there's a lot of things that can change, a lot of flexibility because of that. So also, because there's a lot of flexibility, there's a lot of room for improvement. So, step number 1 is to plan ahead and use your inspection time to your advantage. So, what that means is you're going to want to know what your first pair is going to be. You don't need to know all the moves to insert that pair, but you want to know where those 2 pieces for the first pair are going to end up on the cube so that you can immediately jump into F2L and eliminate that pause. So a drill for inspection you can do to practice is to identify all 4 pairs that go along with whatever color you're solving on. So if I'm solving on white, here are 2 of the pieces for 1 pair. Here's another 2, and so on and so on, until you found all of them, and that just helps to get into the habit of looking where all the pieces are. So once you get to this part, when you solved your cross, then you will have already known what you're gonna solve. So maybe it's these 2 pieces. So you're gonna want to know that these pieces are going to be right here. You don't need to know what to do to solve them because you can figure that out pretty much instantly if you already know where they're going to be. So that's step 1, is to use inspection to your advantage and plan ahead. Step number 2 is to reduce moves. I'm going to use a crude example that I've seen like beginners do before. There's nothing wrong with beginners, but I've just seen this happen. So you have like 2 pieces of F2L stuck together that you need to break apart, and they'll break it apart like this, and then they realize that they're going to have to break it apart further to insert it. So that's a crude example of ways to eliminate moves. Also eliminating rotations. I can maybe do this rotation list. Let's see. Yes, so I could do that rotation list. It may take a couple extra moves, but for my style it's worth it. Depending on what your style is, you can tailor how you cube for your style. So there's a lot of flexibility you have, but reducing rotations, things like that, just do some slow solves and figure out the optimal way for you to solve a case. So yeah, that's pretty much step 2. Step 3 goes along with step 2, and that is knowing what the optimal case is. So of all the cases of F2L that you encounter, all 4 in the beginning, what the fastest one is, so that you know to solve that one first. So maybe it's these 2. So once again, just do slow solves and figure out while you're solving what the fastest cases are to solve. So yeah, just do some slow solves and you can work on step 2 at the same time, and that works pretty well. So that overall just reduces moves, and that's it, but it's 2 separate things to help reduce moves. Step 3 is using algorithms, and I don't mean use algorithms for all of F2L, but just for certain cases. So for example, this case here, instead of using your normal insertion, you can just do a quick algorithm because this slot is empty, so use that to your advantage. the way the algorithm works. So the Westonian has some great videos on that. I'll put a link in the description. And that's where I learned my F2L algorithms from. And there's more like that. But basically, it just helps reduce, once again, the amount of moves that you're going to take. And also it makes some cases that seem tricky really easy, because you just know that case and that it's just a quick algorithm, versus like splitting up a bunch of pairs and all kinds of crazy stuff that you don't want to deal with. So that's step 4. Step 5 is the last one, and in my opinion it's pretty much the most important one of all of them, and that is look ahead. So look ahead is just looking ahead, as the name implies, to what you're going to do next, and this eliminates a bunch of pauses in your solving. So that's just, wasted time that you can get rid of by doing look ahead. So I've made plenty of videos about that. I'll put a link in the description for one of those, but I'll just go over really quickly some things you can do to practice look ahead. So one is to use a metronome and just go like a turn every however many, I don't know, every beat. So that keeps everything consistent. You can plan 2 pairs and then solve them with your eyes closed. One I like to do is halfway solve a pair, stop 3 moves before you've solved the pair, and then figure out what your next pair is, and then go seamlessly from one pair to the next pair, and then stop halfway and do it again. So those are a couple of them. Once again, I'll just put a link in the description to a video that goes more in depth. So those are 5 steps to help improve your F2L. 5 steps that I think are the most important, or sums the whole thing up the most. Once again, this is not a tutorial. These are just guidelines. So thank you for watching.